Welcome to the DJ Insider Podcast, sponsored by Amplified Events.
It's the only podcast where we break down insider information from our weddings, experiences, and advice from over 15 years in the wedding industry.
We're your hosts. I'm Mike Kane, owner of Amplified Events.
And I'm Chris Zart, general manager of Amplified Events.
Let's get into it.
Hello.
Yep. We're doing it. So just coming off a kind of a wild weekend.
Yeah.
We had 2 on Friday, a few gigs on Saturday, and a gig on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your gigs.
Yeah, I had 3 events in a row. I had 2 weddings Friday, Saturday, and then I did a tasting at Journeyman on Sunday, which is just where couples, try their food. But we were at the Valpo Journeyman, so that was fun. Just a nice chill gig to kind of end the weekend. But yeah, Friday I was at White Oak in Michigan City, which we work there pretty consistently, so I always enjoy being over there, and it was a really nice day. It started to cool off a little bit later, but in a good way. Like, I think it was heating up inside, so they have these glass garage doors that are kind of behind where we're set up and behind where the dance floor is. So they just opened 2 of them, which was perfect because we set up photo booth outside, so people didn't have to go all the way around that they normally do. So it was just fresh air was coming in. It just felt good the whole night. But yeah, it was just an awesome wedding day. Really good dance floor the whole night. Yeah, no complaints. And Saturday I was at Four Corners, and then this was this venue is a little kind of indoor outdoor, so it is covered, but there's no AC, no heating or anything like that, so it is kind of dependent on weather and things like that. But it was Popcorn Fest in Valpo, so it was kind of craziness, and it was just crappy all day. And then as soon as I left to go to head to this wedding, it was sun came out, stopped raining. It was just absolutely gorgeous, but it was still going to get really cold outside later in the day, and we normally have dance floor outside. So inside this building, that's where dinner, reception, everything is. Then we take it outside, which is great on a nice summer night, but it was just not going to work. So I was able to talk to the couple. I'm like, hey, let's do your first dance. Parent dances outside. You can get gorgeous pictures, all of that good stuff. But I would recommend moving inside. I just didn't want to lose the dance floor. I didn't want to kick things off, and then for the next 3 hours, no one wants to go out there, and then I'm just kind of stuck out there by myself. So we went inside, and it went great, and it was just an awesome wedding. A couple had a great time. They had really good pop punk power hour, sort of towards that last hour of the night, which was awesome. At the end, the groom came up and was like, I've had this playlist going for a really long time called Middle School Angst. And he's like, all of my friends know about it. And him and all of his groomsmen were so tight. They were just a good, I really liked their energy the whole
good
night.
Crew.
Yeah, just a good Dangerous Nights crew, Just
I love that.
Really good guys though. And he's like, yeah, all of my friends were like, did he just ask for your middle school angst playlist to put all those together? Because these are all, which he gave me some of the songs, and then it was some Blink-182, some Killers. I threw into some of my own stuff too, but yeah, that was really funny. But yeah, they were going hard to that.
Dude.
It was a lot of fun. And then yeah, at the end of the night, I tore down photo booth. And there's the top part of it where the iPad's still attached. The groomsmen were picking it up and taking pictures with it. The groom was like, do you want me to stop that? Because I could stop that right now. And I'm like, I built up trust with them throughout the night. Yeah. I think they're going to be okay. And they were fine. So the last pictures were all these. Yeah, it was really great.
That's funny.
Also, some of the best speeches I think I've ever heard, including the father of the brides. If I could have a fraction of this dude's charisma,
wow,
it was... I don't know, just as soon as he started talking, it was just everyone's at ease, everyone's laughing. You could just I don't know, some people just have that skill that's
They're
so
comfortable
natural.
on the microphone.
Yes.
Yeah, they put people at ease.
But his speech wasn't too long. It hit some really good childhood stories, but not in a cringy way that I think we've talked about before. Some people can go a little too on of oh, it was amazing. You're so good at 8th grade gymnastics.
Yeah,
it's we get it. But no, this was really done well and super tasteful. I thought one of the cute things was he said first day of school, I had my video camera or whatever, and I was filming you get on the bus, and then she did this pose or whatever, and he's like, people sometimes tell me that I exaggerate stories a little bit. This guy seems to be a big storyteller. So this is this whole thing. So he's like, I want you to know this is true. So he pulled out and he got a really nice photo that they took from that camera, of her doing this pose. So like, and he gave it to them as like a wedding present. So it was just like a really sweet moment. And but yeah, no, I just had a great weekend. And then yeah, tasting was nice. I got to run to a couple whose wedding I'm doing in March at the Velpo Journeyman, and then yeah, talk to a few new people. But yeah, just a solid weekend overall.
I just had the one, and it was at Two Brothers Roundhouse in Aurora, Illinois. And it's basically like an old brick building, but it's shaped like a donut, big circle with like an inner courtyard. They do like craft beer and food and everything. But it was a wedding, and I had done the bride's sister's wedding a couple years ago, just during COVID. And that one was really fun. It was outdoors in Riverside, you know. And so, but now, yeah, we had her wedding, and everything was fantastic. It was all the services, everything. Just internally, like I don't know if I have long COVID or something, but I just had brain fog. I just couldn't think clearly. So it was really hard for me to like, okay, what's the next thing I have to do? Okay, I have to do this. So I got everything done, and we had a great dance floor and a great party. It just was really taxing on me mentally to like, and I really leaned heavily on my assistant Chaminda to help me kind of navigate and guide through it. But we got through it. It was a really great wedding, great dance floor, great couple. Everybody had a really good time. There was a weird snafu with the planner where I only had down the 2 speeches, the best man, maid of honor. And when I met with my couple, that's what they said. You know, they said, "Oh, my parents might give a speech." I was like, "Well, let me know." You know, and they never let me know. So I assumed, and the planner had it on her list, but then she never said anything. And then we're eating dinner, and I looked at the planner's list, and I saw parent speeches, and I go, "Were the parents supposed to give?" She's like, yeah. I was like, I think so. She's like, I'll go check with the parents. I go, no. Like, you don't check with the person giving the speech if they're still giving a speech. You check with like the couple, in my opinion, because sometimes couples like, I don't want my parent giving a speech, or I just want the two. You know, you don't go ask people like Uncle Bob. Hey, Uncle Bob, were you going to give a few? Then of course they're going to say yes, right? But if they're not asked to, you know, you don't want to like open the door.
All the events throughout the night are planned strategically, in time strategically, so that things happen at the right time, especially getting dinner served. Yeah. So it can cause a lot of problems just having like a speech thrown in there, especially upsetting the couple, like you said.
Yeah, it was fine. I went, because she's like, no, you don't want to bother the couple. I was like, when is that a rule?
I was not bothering them. You're just talking.
I was like, hey, just checking in. Like, that's what I said. And I was like, I only had you down for the maid of honor. She's like, oh yeah, my parents do want to. I was like, oh, who's giving a speech? And it wasn't a big thing.
Right.
But like the planner was like, you can't bother the couple. I was like, I think you can bother the couple, and it's not bothering them to just confirm who's going to give a speech. Like, takes 2 seconds, but you don't ask the person giving the speech to confirm. They're going to say yes. Like, that's not an answer. Anyway, I apologize to the planner for being kind of short with her about it, because I was just like, this is really silly that I saw in your thing that we missed some speeches, and then you were acting like panicked that you had to go talk to it was insane. She had her boyfriend with her, and her aunt was there. The planner,
That's weird.
It was very disorganized. It was just too bad, because the couple was super nice and sweet, but the planner would the catering didn't even want to talk to her after a while, because she kept throwing off the plan. And catering was short staffed. When we got there, the catering was like, yeah, we don't have enough bartenders and all this, you know. It was a whole deal.
I had a weird situation with our caterer on Saturday too, where I'm not really sure what was going on. We had a plan of like introductions, and I talked to him like, hey, so this is what I have. You're going to get salad served. It was all family style. You're going to get salad served around. As soon as that's done, we're going to get speeches done. As soon as that's done, entrees come out. Mm-hmm. She's like, perfect. She's like, that's exactly what I had. I'm like, great. So then we do that. Salads come around, we knock out all the speeches. It was probably like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It was like, we started at 6, it was like 6:25, something around there. And caterer like comes up, and they're like, what am I supposed to do? And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, and it was to
Cook food?
me and the photographer, the videographer.
Serve food?
And I'm like, give people food? She's like, what? She's like, well, the couple, they're going to go out for sunset photos soon. And I'm like, yeah, well, the photographers just said they're going to do that in like 20 minutes. So I'm like, if you feed them now, they have like 20 minutes to eat, and then they can take them out. And they're like, well, and they were just like really, and they literally like, we don't know what to do. And they waited like 15 minutes to start serving food, because they didn't know who to serve first, because they were worried about like But then like the couple got served food and then immediately had to get sunset photos. So
Just
it was
serve-
just
just serve
really, I'm like, I don't know
serve
what
the food,
you're
dude.
trying, but like literally yeah, she came up and
It's
asked and
hilarious.
was like, like, what do I do? And I'm like, that's not my job. That's really strange to ask me that.
The
but
food that you cook, give it to the people and let them eat it.
It was very confusing.
Yeah.
I did not know what was going on, but this is like, there's so many weird curveballs and just things that can happen throughout the day that I just don't. And I'm like, I'm the DJ. It's just funny when people come up to you and they're like, with some other detail of like, I'm just looking for the bathroom. It's
Dude.
like,
We had one of the bartenders come up to me. She's like, yeah, people are requesting Oktoberfest. And that bar doesn't have it. This bar has it. Like, can you make an announcement that we do have Oktoberfest on tap and it's at the main bar? So I got on there and I was like, hey, just so you know, we've heard some rumblings looking for, it's at the main bar. And then she comes up. She's like, I'm so sorry. It's actually not the main bar. It's at the small one. So I got on the line. I go, do you guys remember earlier how I was like, yeah, Oktoberfest, we have it, main bar? And everyone's like, yeah. I go, I lied. I said that on the mic.
That's good.
Everyone started laughing, you know. I was like, it's actually at that bar. Gotcha, you know. And
I think it's better to make the joke instead of just making the announcement. Because if you would have just made the announcement,
people ignored
that'd
it.
be also confused.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, wait, did he say main bar or other bar? But at least like you got them to stop for a
Yeah.
second.
Do you remember use the tone to kind of people like listen in, you know? He's saying something kind of fun. I lied in announcement form.
That's pretty good.
Ended up fine. It was a really fun wedding. Just some weird timeline stuff with the planner.
You know, I feel like
I just feel like she added more stress to what it was
You
and
don't
more
want.
disorganization.
you do not want that.
It just was unprofessional. And the whole time she's kind of sat at her table with her boyfriend. I'm like, what is going on? Your whole job is to help like make this flow better. And it's like she kept like coming up with things that were like I didn't have on my list at all. And like we went over the timeline. So like at the beginning of the night, I went over the timeline with the catering. And even catering was like, oh yeah, we need more time. Like push it back. You know, let's not do speeches during dinner.
I think that with DJs, the type of person it attracts for the job is someone who's like very like loose and easygoing and is like whatever. But like you really need someone who's more organized. With planners, it really attracts type A people.
Yes.
When actually you need someone who's like, yes, organized, but very relaxed.
Yeah.
Because you need to have that person like help you feel relaxed and I mean also taken care of, but I don't know. There's like a right amount of assertiveness you need. You have to be like on top of it, but you also need to be chill. There's a lot of planners I've worked with that they're like they have all the organization, everything is planned so well. There's so much detail, but they're very stressed. They're very stressful to work with. That's why like I really appreciate working with the good planners that are like, there's days where you're like, whoa, am I even working? Like they handle all the stuff we normally have to do. They're like, yeah, we just lined up your bridal party for you. Oh yeah, this is the speech you're doing. Like
Yeah.
When they just take care of it all, it's awesome.
I felt bad for the photo video because they had to set up lights and tear them down, set them up, tear them down. Because we did two speeches and they were like kind of combined because they're husband and wife, the maid of honor and best man. And then like dinner served, right?
Yeah.
And then while we're eating dinner, I look at her paper. She didn't prompt this. I'm like, I didn't have parent speeches. And she's like, well, we're going to, and then she's like, yeah, let's do them now. And I go, we can wait, like let us eat. And like, so we just, all of our food got cold. And then we went and set up and did the other speeches. The speeches were great, parents, I'm glad we did them. But it was just like added stress and discombobulated planning that didn't need to exist. So, oh well. So we get a lot of compliments, right? And what would you say is the number one compliment we get besides like our dance floors, our music, emceeing, besides that, what's the number one compliment we get?
Oh, just like in general?
Yeah. From like guests or from vendors.
Oh, first of all, the videographer, I definitely bragging here, but it felt good. This was like a huge ego boost. He came up to me right before he left. It was the first time I worked with him, and he was just like, I just want to let you know, you are a very good DJ.
Aw.
And it was just like very direct, but like very,
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, I'm like, you don't know how much that like means. Like, hearing
Yeah.
that, especially from like another vendor that I work with.
Yeah, because they see them all the
means a
time,
lot.
so they know.
The simple ones are nice, but I really like, I've gotten before like, photographers have told me like, oh, you have a really good DJ voice, which like is a really nice one because
Sure.
that's one that I think took me longer to get the confidence and the, it takes a moment to find your voice, to feel comfortable being
Yeah.
on the mic, projecting, kind of like having energy, things like that. That was like mixing all of that. That was fun, but that was like the most difficult thing getting started, like in this job, was being on the mic. So that compliment goes a long way.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
The number one compliment we get, besides, of course, about our abilities as
I can't think of the number one. Yeah.
our setup, how
yeah.
beautiful our setup is, our booth, our speakers, like people just rave about it.
Mm-hmm.
We've literally been put on vendor lists because of it.
Right.
And so I'm part of these DJ groups, and you know, DJs they love to post photos and videos of their setup, of their equipment.
Mm-hmm.
They're very proud, and they're really like, when you let like grown men do whatever they want, you get crazy DJ setups. Like there's no rules, you know? And so some of these ones are like amazing, like beautiful, super professional quality. And some of them are like, yeah, that's pretty good. It's nice. And some of them are the most ghastly, ugly, terrible
We
thing.
put a cage up and
Yes.
then lights there.
Yeah.
And then lights there.
So I
and
went
then more
online.
lights.
I went online on Sunday, and I found a ton of photos of DJ setups, and I thought it'd be fun for you and I to kind of go through and critique them.
Sure.
And we can do it like good, bad, ugly. You know,
Okay.
rate them. And we can kind of say what's good or what's bad about them.
Right.
And then, to be fair, we will also rate our setup.
Yes. I mean, everyone does have different tastes too. Some people really want the huge party vibe, you know,
Yeah.
all glass house, white suit.
But here's number one. And so it's just your classic, like they're in a gym,
Yep.
single setup. You got the subs down front and the two speakers on stands. To me, that's good.
I
It's
think
good.
I've used this setup before.
Right. Good setup, right? It's not my. So then there's this.
Wow.
Let me also say that, like, you know, your equipment doesn't mean you're a good DJ.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with talent. I'm not putting down any of these DJs. I just think some of the setup is like, oh my gosh, what are you? It's kind of ugly. So
People thought that carpet in bathrooms was a good idea.
Yeah,
at one point,
yeah,
you know what
right,
I mean, just
right.
like times do change.
he's got the speakers on the stands. That's fine. He's got this overhead thing, and I think he's just overdoing it. Way too much lights. He's got the sub out front. He's got the what's that called?
What I can say is, for the style not being good, it is organized looking.
Yeah.
Everything looks really clean. Look, cables are hidden well. Even the cables up here, like everything looks like decent for what it is. This guy, like, he's gonna throw a pretty good prom.
Yeah.
Do you want this at your wedding? This is the reason why we have our setup look like what it looks like is because I think we don't want to detract from the couple's venue and the decorations
Yeah.
and everything.
People-
we want to blend in. We want it to
people-
look nice, but
They pick their weddings because of the aesthetics, just how beautiful it is. And so when you show up with stuff like this, it's like, oh, the natural beauty of the venue? Nope. Look at all this crazy tech stuff that somebody let me purchase and assemble with no.
that's really
Somebody wrote DJ Fire Hazard. Like, give this DJ a name, DJ Fire Hazard.
call OSHA, please.
Yes, it's just like open cables, plugs.
By the way, how many things are plugged
It's like
in?
a wet market of DJ
Why are
equipment.
there? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4.
He's got
5,
two
6
PCs.
power strips.
You see the two. There's two personal computer like towers.
And also, this is a laptop.
Yep. He has a laptop, two PCs plus another monitor. Like, plus looks like there's like sound here, maybe like record. Way too much equipment plugged in, all crazy. Like, all his cases are over there.
I'm honestly like kind of impressed.
Imagine showing up your wedding and that was this. You know.
Looking all of this over. What does it even all do? I can't even
Yeah.
like process that.
I don't think he knows that. You know, it's insane.
That's amazing.
But it looks like a workstation. It doesn't really look like he's going to DJ. So this guy, like, just huge. I mean, just very large. He's got a large mirror ball with like a homemade, looks like box stand on it. I mean, trussing, large, what are those called? I mean, just insane. Just very, in my opinion, very gaudy.
Is this a projector too?
I think so. Yep. And they have like the whole rack mount and then like this rolling thing. But yeah, we're not trying to put anybody on blast here, but it's just, you show up to like a very nice country club, beautiful, elegant wedding, and then you see this guy's setup.
And nothing to hide the cords either.
Yeah. No tablecloth, nothing. So this one, again, people just overdo it. It's just too much equipment. This takes hours to set up.
That's the other thing I'm thinking is like, this is a long day for us. I would say, what would you say the average? 11 hours, 12 hours, most wedding days that we work?
Yeah, 10 to 12, yeah.
It's a pretty long work day. And then to add on another like 2-3 hours of setup and teardown sounds so exhausting. Like, me by myself, photo booth and our setup, I could do like 30 minutes.
Yeah. But some of these guys, 2.5, 3 hours. I mean, and that's literally why a lot of venues would recommend us, is we're out quickly, So, but this is DJ Malik out of Florida. He's got an amazing group. Look at that. Beautiful. He's got the same booth as us. He's got clean white towers. He's using a CO2 cannon in the photo.
These antennas are huge, though.
Yeah, he's got, that's the only thing. I have those two that came with the booth, whatever, the mic setup. But other than that, like,
I like the movers. We
even has the Astera tubes, and even has our same speakers. You can kind of see in the distance there. But yeah, super clean, professional. This is kind of what our setup looks like. So he's got another one where he's like standing. But yeah, it's basically our setup, except he's using Asteras and he has a little bit different antenna. But really clean, super nice. Got the uplights. So I thought this one was good. So he's using old Bose, but he's got it separated out really well. He's got the uplights as the center. He's got a tiny little workstation. Very clean, very small, low profile. Blends in with the room. Yeah. Right? He's there to throw a great party, not like become the party. The attention's not immediately drawn to him.
I think it's either look good or don't have people look at all.
Stay out of it. Yes, yeah. But ideally,
I almost didn't even see the speakers.
Right, that's my point. Yeah, it just blends. But he's able to throw sound all over that room. He's got this tiny little thing. It's just, to me, that's elegant. Yeah. Because then it's what you're really focused in on the decoration and on the light, which is what you should be. So this is, to me, is pretty good. Like, it's not my preference of how to do a setup. I think it's more so like style is dated, but it's not necessarily bad. Yeah. You have what is this called? A facade. Yeah, facade is in the front, which kind of helps clean things up. You can keep a lot of your stuff really hidden well. I used a facade for years because I wanted to get away from the table. Lights on the speakers is nice because then you have less equipment and like crazy stands you have to set up. Yes, it's clean. It's just, and it's good quality stuff. And they only just did one sub. I think you could do two, but one is fine because for sound, you really don't need to. This is another really elegant setup. They have like a booth with a TV built into it. Lights. And then like nice setup, too much work for me. Yeah. This would be like a professional. You can see they have a live percussionist. Yeah. They've set up teams that do this. This is next level events. This is like top tier. So to me, this would be like a beginner DJ. This is what their setup would typically look like. I don't really love those. I always thought those look weird. I think it looks more distracting. They draw more attention than this, A black stand just kind of blends in. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't like the way it looks. I think it meant you're supposed to put uplights under them so they light up, but I just think it looks kind of ugly, personally. But I think you don't need that light. You could put this behind the booth. There's different things they could do to make this clean it up, but this is an okay setup just for a beginner. Right. This is a professional setup. Looks like our setup, basically. It's our booth, longer antenna, and then they have the LG, Maui LG for these are great, 44s. Seeing this and then like the other setups is making me really appreciate our setup even more now. Yeah, yeah. So again, they got this way too much. Why do you need all these? You just don't need all the speakers. Most DJs, they just bring in way too much sound. It's overkill. We like to do our kind of policies. We want to bring just enough equipment to do the job and do the job well. Most of the time, I feel like I'm usually overkill for a lot of weddings. Like I'm not going to the max volume that I possibly can go. But I mean, it's all got to fit in a car or, some of these guys, they have vans and trucks. Again, this is a really nice setup right here. This is a real classic professional look. Just a single. They have a nice little booth thing. I think Rest of Sounds has a booth like this. Really clean workstation, professional looking booth. Doesn't look bad. Yeah. It's fine too. Yeah, it's using a table. Like, this is how a lot of guys get started. They have a table, but they have a quick rack mount. I personally don't like the large monitor or like the keyboard, but some people, everyone has their own style. But this is clean. This is clean. He's hid the cables well. The subs are in front and low. This is fine. Yeah, I don't know if you need strobes. He's got 2 strobes on his. I don't think you need those. But other than that, this is fine. You can make it look a lot better. Personally, I don't like the draping,
like
trussing
back there. Other than that, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at that. He's got this is Malik again. He's got, this is a video wall. Like you can't see because it's black and white, but that does like videos and stuff. And then he's got all of these sparkler cannons.
Wow.
With uplights. I mean, it's just a very that's expensive professional show that you're doing for a wedding. It's not next level. I mean, it's above and beyond what ours does. And then you got a guy with way too many lights.
DJ Funky shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the look of a big box like that. But it works, right? I think he doesn't need both lights. I think you just need one of those is fine. I did 2 for years, and then I got cut down to 1, and it didn't make a difference at all. This is interesting. I attached the lights to the top of the speaker.
The cage setup doesn't look too pretty, but
yeah, I don't love the truss look, but it's fine. It's got a nice video wall. So I always think this is weird when people use these mics that like radio or podcast.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I personally am not a fan, but some people do it.
I like being able to like hold the microphone and like carry it around.
Just way too much. You got the bars. You got what is that? Like a spinning headlight. I think it's just too much.
Yeah.
You could parse that down and make it look even cleaner. This is like what? I mean, each one of those lights is like 10, 20 pounds. You got it on a whole this truss system. Like,
I've never found lights to be that important.
Well, and they have 4 speakers, it looks like.
Whoa, I didn't see the
1,
you
2.
see the cables here?
Yeah, just look at that cable management.
Oh my God.
All that red. And they didn't even get black cable. It's all red cable.
That looks so bad.
It's like red, your eyes immediately drawn to it. Like you see it. You can't unsee it now. It's just giant red snake coming down the back of the...
Jeez.
Generally, you want to hide cables because you don't want it looking like a 5th grade band practice. Again, cable management issues.
This could be good.
Just lights everywhere. Yeah, you can see he's using like a vinyl coffin, So he mixes on vinyl, which is fine. But his cable management needs work, and his speakers probably should be elevated.
Yeah, like cleaned up, this like could look
and
okay.
you don't need, though. It's just kind of weird. It's like he bought one light, and then he bought another light. And then he bought another light, and then he bought another light. And that's what it looks like. And this one is like from Spencer Gifts, Really clean, using Bose. But clean, elegant, simple. I would tape down those cables. But other than that, it's nice. Look at that. SE Event Group, really bringing it. Clean, professional.
Wheats in.
I think that might be like the name of the bar or something. I don't know. But to me, it's hilarious that like... And then you can see he's got more lighting off onto the side there. DJs they fall in love with their equipment, and they really shouldn't.
What's the first thing you think when someone comes up to you and they're like, "Oh yeah, I used to be a DJ"?
I think they have setups like this.
Yeah, same. And anytime someone comes up and says that to me, I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think it's like they probably have a ton of equipment taking up, collecting dust and storage. Yeah, these are still good, these PV Ultra heavies. Again, I think you just don't, for an outside gig, this is too much. And it's too heavy. You don't need that. You don't need that much weight or that much wattage of speaker.
Right.
And then you've got way too much stuff. I thought this was funny because sometimes people try to decorate the tables.
Is he just using PC speakers?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yes, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 PC speakers and a subwoofer, and he's got it all connected to his laptop. He's not mixing. He's not using a turntable. He's just pressing play on a laptop.
Yeah.
And he's got his big old microphone.
These are the
and then a purse. He's got a big old purse here. I think somebody just storing there. And then they have, let's decorate, let's make it look nice. And they have these big yellow bows.
It's misleading. It's actually the new Bose setup.
Yeah, the new Bose. Yeah. BOWS. Yeah. Not BOSE. I've got Bose. State of the art.
No, he's got the Bose. He's got them.
And he's just sitting down, and he's just, I
like how they blurred out his face. He just was like, yeah, you can take this picture of me, but I don't want people to know.
When I'm DJing, I'm never sitting down. I'm almost always standing because I'm mixing. I'm interacting with the crowd. I'm emceeing. Like, I'm throwing a party. This guy is, on the phone, it looks like, and he's just, next song, just jamming. By the way, my first wedding, PC speakers because I blew my speakers, blew my laptop. So that's what my first wedding I ever did was like this. So I'm making fun.
That was your sister's, right?
Yeah, I'm making fun of this guy, but this guy was me.
we all started.
We had a tablecloth though.
Okay. Oh yeah.
We hid the cables.
Classy enough.
We had some self-respect. Yeah. Again, just too much equipment, man. Ugly.
It's always the lights too. You know. I mean, that is too much speaker as well. But like, why that many lights?
Well, he's got all these, and then he's like, "Let's do a 4-bar." It's not good. And then they have one that's on the ground here.
You can talk to anyone from like any profession. I mean, photography, videography. It's like the equipment is nice, yes, but like it is you too. When you're like hiding behind the equipment of like, oh, to be a good DJ, let me have all these cool lights. It's just like, no, that's not what makes you a good DJ. But
equipment is not what makes you a good DJ. It's how you use it, with the songs you pick, your emceeing. You know, do you throw a good party?
Right.
This guy, I mean, clean.
They're just like
not the way I
hiding the
like
setup.
it to look because I think it draws too much attention. But
Looks like you're hiding secrets back there.
right? Yes, yeah. But he went real light on the lights and just 2 speakers. I think you should have the speakers out in front of the thing. So this guy, oh my, just he's like surrounded like Star Wars style, like tunnel of equipment.
This just feels like you went to some convention.
Yeah.
And someone's about to come on stage, give a speech.
Yeah, just way too much lighting. He's got it in front of him, so he's behind his lights. That's not a good look if you're DJing.
No offense to this guy, I don't want to be this old when I'm DJing.
No.
I think
No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
I think that there's a point where I'll get out of touch.
The thing is, though, he won. You can see from he won a Couples Choice Award.
Okay.
So you can win awards. You can still. I assume he does a good job. He just doesn't have good taste in equipment and setup. You know.
He looks like a really nice guy.
He looks like a really nice guy. I think he's probably a good DJ. Just his setup is a little dated, and where he set these lights up is not the place you should do that. So I thought this one was funny because they gave him a really nice tablecloth, and then he did not use it at all.
Why did you go that way?
You should run all your cables back behind.
Like you can tell that it's in the front just because the tables here, like all the guests are like, oh yeah, that looks nice.
He's got his power
cables
thing
running
right there.
down.
You know, the whole point of the tablecloth is to hide the cables.
Because sometimes you have that one where it's like the skirt and you can feed it through.
Yeah.
Which like that's nice. Like I
Yeah,
remember doing that
skirt
before.
is nice, yeah.
Yeah, but
Skirt is nice, but that one they don't have a skirt. So then you run it back.
right.
So then you have a clean white front. So then it blends in with the rest of the aesthetics. It doesn't look like this guy just showed up and plugged a bunch of stuff in.
You just wanted to trigger me today. This is
So this
painful.
I thought it was interesting because he has like I don't know if these are like benches or tables.
Yeah.
Or it might be like I think what
Keyboard
it is.
stand?
I think what it is they have mobile stages that are very small that you can piece together. I think it's 2 different mobile stages that he put. Too much equipment for a pool party. I mean, he's got this really nice club style setup. Then he's also got 2 vinyl set up. I mean, you just don't need all that.
Well, do you think it's for the like, hey, I'm doing my digital mixes, and then hey, I want to scratch?
Sure.
Because some people like the feel.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why
Yeah,
I would
and
guess
it could
that.
be like I just don't. I don't think for any gig you need both. Just pick one.
Right.
It's way overkill on equipment, and I'm like, this is just gonna definitely get wet and fall in, and so this one I thought was funny because they just like shove you back in a corner, you know,
Yeah.
far away from everything. I think a lot of DJs can relate to that.
This is the dance floor.
If it is, that'd be nice, but it looks like he's nowhere near the dance floor. He's on the other side of the room. So again, I think this is a little dated. I think you could clean that up, but it's fine. He's using a MacBook. That's good. This is when people say DJ, they think this, and I like that's not us. This guy's from
Bust out the cummerbunds.
late '80s, early '90s setup. But even back then, you can see he's rocking CDs. Those are all his CDs out there. So he's got to pick like, oh, I want Cotton Eye Joe, and then I want Macarena, and then I want Chicken Dance.
Dude,
It's different CDs.
I can't even imagine. I have it too good.
But this guy, I would bet back in the day, put on a good show.
Yeah.
You know, just his setup's a little dated, and
I love from a photo when you can immediately tell what year it is.
yeah, too much lights. It's just and it's every type of light. There's no. What's the purpose of all those lights? Do they add an effect that really helps with the party? Probably not.
And very random.
Yeah. Way too many speakers. Just you don't need that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You just don't need that many speakers.
This guy disagrees, but
Yeah, there better be 2,000 people on the other side of this. I don't think there are. He looks like he's in a school, but maybe there are. Too many speakers. What? It's on a table. You just get a stand. This one's on the ground, but it's just, yeah, it's so ugly.
so is he up there
I think so. He's kind of back behind
or like
there.
in there?
Yeah, they have him shoved back into the corner.
It's so weird looking.
And then he's still got the strobe lights.
I could look at these all day.
How many strobe lights do you need? 1, 2, 3, 4 strobes. One will do you, and I don't even think you need strobes.
Oh, don't worry. There's a speaker back there too.
Yeah. It's
This
too
is
much.
Insane.
But imagine showing up to a wedding, and this is what the setup looks like. So definitely to our couples,
the pros.
the pros. And then nothing about it looks professional.
Also, like this is like the second one that I've seen that could look okay if cable managed well and cleaned up. Like all of this on the ground, all this in the front. Just seeing this of like, okay, he's got like his computer set up, his mixer, speakers.
You and I spent 5 minutes, we can make this look 1,000 times better.
It could look okay. It's not going to look great, but like it would look all right.
It would look like the person set up actually cared about how things look and that they're a professional.
What's funny about this photo is it feels like someone saw this DJ and was like, wow, this looks so bad, I have to take a picture of it.
Yes, yes.
Because he's not aware.
Yeah. Yeah, but just look, just tons and tons and tons.
Oh, it hurts. That
Yeah.
really hurts me.
Again, too much. This is too much lighting. It just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
so, like,
9.
dark, too.
9 different types of light. And yeah, then the photo is still dark.
Wow.
Yeah. Clean setup.
Yeah.
4 lights, but they all have a purpose. Those are like I think those are kind of like derby
Yeah.
or laser, and then these are movers.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
yeah, nice speakers. We got
Blends
the
in.
same ones. Clean towers, clean booth. I think that's the end of our stuff. Let me pull out a photo of our setup.
Wow. That is amazing.
Okay, here's one. Here's one I took a couple years ago, and I've my setup is different than this. This was from years ago, 2021. This was us in 2021. I did have the long antenna. I've gotten shorter
I
antenna
didn't
now.
know we've had this set up for that long. I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
You've had it since 21. Wow.
Yep. So yeah, white speakers, white booth. You see how the cables are totally hidden. You can't even see the cables. But yeah, the whole point of our setup is to throw a great party, right? So we want the equipment to sound good, microphones. We need to mix music, and we have to have speakers that have enough sound to like make it happen. But what do they think the pros and cons are like of our setup? Things you can do with it, things you can't.
The only real like big con I can think of is normally I would have a separate mixer that I'd have a little more control over like individual channels and how they sound and like EQ and everything. That's like the only real big con I can think of, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference. The EQing in the board directly itself, I think is fine. I think there are DJs that are a little more particular about their sound and are like super like, you know, it has to be this way. I'm not really that way. Like, you know, if it sounds good, it sounds good. I don't need to have that much control. So
Yeah.
that's not really a big thing. The pros heavily outweigh the cons of like, setup is so fast. I have everything I need in this one setup ready to go. Even more than before, I have like two USB-C chargers. I have, I got like rechargeable batteries for my microphones now. I just have like
Yeah.
batteries constantly charging inside there.
I love that,
I have
Sam.
an iPhone charger. I have, I can run like an aux cable out. So if I need to plug in my computer or phone to do, if something goes wrong,
Yeah, guest
I
phone
can
or something
always
if
like
there's-
play music. Yeah, just access to everything that as soon as my setup's ready to go, I can have like everything charging, everything ready to go, everything plugging in. Videographers can just plug into like record out in the back, which is crazy. I could have an additional wired mic that I can instantly plug into a port. I mean, everything is so fast and like easy to use and hidden. Like you said, you can't even see. I mean, I have like a million cables back there, but they're all hidden. Like no one could see them or anything like that. But I just, you know, have everything that I need. Everything is super fast and organized. Yeah, the only con I can really think of is that not having the mixer. And I guess it's a little difficult to move. I like moving that entire setup by myself.
It's
I couldn't
heavy.
really do.
Yeah. It's heavy. It's kind of an awkward shape. You know, it's big.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a big part. It's heavier. It's awkward. You can only do 2 to 3 mics. You know, you can't do like a ton of microphones.
I mean, I never
can't-
have to do more than
almost,
2.
It almost never comes up, so it's fine. But it's really just the right amount of equipment for the jobs we do. Now, if you have like over 500, 800 people, then yeah, we're going to need more speakers.
Right.
That kind of thing. But yeah, for what we do, most of our gigs are 100 to 200 to 300 people, 100 to 300 people. And so our setups are perfect for that. EQing, you can't take a lot of ranges and frequencies out.
Yeah.
That you probably want to make it sound amazing. You know, we're limited on that, how good we can make it sound. So audio engineers are not going to like us.
Right, right. The one thing I can also think of too, I guess, as a con is like if I have a setup where I'm doing ceremony in the same space as reception, so I can use, because normally when we do ceremony, we use that smaller setup. If I'm using my larger setup and I'm running those lav mics, it is a little more awkward to kind of set it up where like I have to, there's only 2 mic ports.
Yeah.
And they're different. They're 1/4 inch and XLR. So I have to use an adapter cable to plug both lavs in, which is fine. I've done it multiple times, but it is a little more awkward if I have to like run these additional cables. And that's like the only thing. Whereas a mixer, I could just plug into the 2 inputs and then I'm good to go. But yeah, I mean, it just makes everything better. I can't go back. It's like, I can't go back. It's way too nice.
I think 99% of the time is totally fine. Occasionally you have those weird things, but honestly, yeah, I've learned a lot from doing it, and I'm glad I don't DJ with PC speakers anymore. You know,
with what?
PC speakers, like
okay.
personal computer speakers. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore. And you know, I've learned a thing or two about cord management, and gotten rid of the table. Don't use a table anymore. Use a booth.
Right.
Just you know, our setup now looks it's attractive, and it's memorable in a good way. And then when we step up and throw a great dance party, then they're like, oh, these guys are awesome. These guys are really good, you know. Versus, they show up and it's like, you might throw a great party, but your setup is like gaudy and ugly and it's way too much. And then the venue's cursing you because you're taking 3 hours to tear down. You know, load up get your dolly cart and giant. Just most of the time, DJs bring way too much equipment, just way more than you'd ever need to do the job. You can blow everybody away with the sound. Great. You have enough to put on a concert for 2,000 people.
My time is very valuable to me.
I don't.
Especially, like I said, after working a long wedding day, I don't want to stick around longer.
And so is the venue. The venues, their staff their time's valuable too. They want to go home.
It's more than just one person. It's usually, you know, like multiple people, like 20 people at the end, tearing down, getting everything done for the night. They're waiting on you. Yeah, that's terrible.
DJ's got to change out of his tuxedo cummerbund to tear down his lights that are like visible heat's coming off them. It's so hot, you know. But yeah, I just thought it was fun to kind of go through that.
I like that.
It might be a more DJ thing, but man, you would notice it right away if somebody showed up to your wedding with one of those setups. You'd be like, oh my goodness, oh no.
Yeah, you don't even want to think about it. It's just like, oh yeah, it looks nice. It's either you notice it looks nice or it's like it's so in the background that it's just not taken away. But
yeah, that's thanks for listening and
another busy weekend coming up.
Yeah, I'm off, but everyone else is on.
Oh, you're off?
Yeah,
we'll enjoy the time off.
We got 2 on Friday and then I think 7 on Saturday. So
wow,
it should be a busy day.
Good stuff.
But I'm off, so peace. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys on those dance floors, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.